Hello there. Thanks for joining me today for this nice balancing flow. And we're going to start this one doing everyone's personal favorite. We're going to start with a toe stretch. So go ahead and meet me on your mat. Tucking those toes under, making sure the little toe is out too. We don't want it to get all damaged. Lowering those knees down, and then maybe walking the hands up onto the thighs. You can keep them on the ground if that feels better for you. But while we're here, I want you to think of this lift. The more we lift here, the less pressure there are on our feet. I'm not going to keep us here too long, but we'll probably be here for close to a solid minute. So if you want a little bit of a distraction, you can roll the wrists. And we can reverse that roll. Beautiful. Interlace the hands, push them forward. Take them up and overhead, maybe taking the gaze up, thinking of lifting up here. And slowly releasing them to bring them to an interlace behind the back. Pulling the shoulders together, pulling the hands away from your booty. Taking that gaze up, once again thinking of lifting, not collapsing here. And gently release, hands come back to thighs. Go ahead and come forward. And then we're going to come back. So releasing those toes and then walking yourself back. Maybe playing with a little bit of balance here, taking the hands off, bringing them to heart center. This one can almost be a little more intense. If we have problems in hero or other areas, this might be a bit uncomfortable. All we do is just lower them down and not come up with the knees so much. Tapping into the breath here, how you feel. Noticing any sensations in the body other than the feet right now. A few rounds of breath here. Making sure we're filling up this belly with air, even though it is constricted right now with the abs. And slowly we'll release. We're coming back into the toe stretch, but we're going to come into a stand. So a toe stand here. So it's easier for me whenever I literally pull my heels all the way up into my booty instead of having them like this. Okay, so you can see the difference here, and this to me is easier. However, it may not be easier for everyone. I just want to offer that option. Once you feel good here, we're going to bring the hands to heart center. And you got it. We're going to slowly rise up to standing on the toes. So just as slow as you can, maybe bringing the arms up and overhead with you. And then a slow lower, back down. Ah, very nice. And again, we rise. And slow lower again. And we're going to do this one more time. Inhale to lift. Woo. And once again, just a really slow lower down, no rush. No rush. Landing back in our toe stand, trying to find this balance here. Ooh. And slowly we'll walk the hands forward. We're coming into downward facing dog. So you're probably going to have to walk the feet back just a little bit. Once you get here, go ahead and take the feet wide. And here we're just going to play. We're going to take the right hand off, maybe taking it up and overhead. And bringing it back to the mat. And maybe taking the left hand off. Bring it back. This time we're going to take the right hand off, maybe pointing it back, and maybe trying to lift up through that left foot. Just playing. It's okay if you can't do it. We're just playing with the balance here. Having fun with this. Release slowly. And then we're going to try the other side. So pick up that left hand, maybe take it towards the back. And slowly lifting that right leg off. Just playing. Whew. Slowly releasing back into our wide down dog. We're just going to walk those feet in, coming back into a more normal wide-legged dog, or normal dog. Come up on those toes, hop forward to the outer edges of the mat, coming in for a yogi squat. Hands at heart center. And let's play with coming up on those toes here. So you can bring your hands to the mat to come up onto those toes. Once again, we're just challenging the balance here, getting some massive strength in the feet and the ankles, the calves. Breathe. And we're going to come to that standing position again. We're obviously going to be in a wide-legged stance here on the toes. So inhale, we come up. Arms go up, stand on the toes. And exhale slowly back down to that yogi squat on the toes. And again, inhale, we rise. And exhale brings us back down. We're going to do this one more time. Inhale, lift up. Arms reach up. And exhale. Whew. Back down to our yogi squat. Maybe releasing those toes, coming back onto our heels. Hands at heart center, pressing those elbows against those knees. Lifting up the toes now, countering that stretch actively. We'll just be here for 2 more rounds of breath here. Beautiful. Bring the hands back to the mat. We're going to hop the feet back, or we're going to come into plank, however you want to come into plank here. Tucking that tailbone under. And let's lift that left leg up. 3-legged plank. And release. Right leg lifts. 3-legged plank here. Release. Lift the left again. Maybe try to take that right hand up. Come onto the fingertips first, and then you can try to play with the balance of lifting it up. Release. Right foot goes up. And trying to play with taking the left hand off. And release, and the hips up and back. Downward dog. Go ahead and walk forward slowly. Forward fold. Maybe taking some sways left to right. Finding stillness here. Inhale brings us up. Halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, we're going to peel up to standing. Take those arms up and overhead. Exhale brings them down to heart center. Beautiful job. Inhale those arms down to come back up. Slice through the sky. Half lift. Plant the hands, step the feet back, plank. Lower down the knees, and then the chest and the chin. Roll through into our cobra. And let's all push back to a child's pose. Give those feet a little break for 2 rounds of breath here. Slowly, we're going to push up and come into our downward facing dog. Next inhale takes that right leg up, three-leg dog. Step it forward in between the hands. Rise up, high lunge here, arms up and overhead. Pivot on that back foot, open up warrior two. Making sure your alignment is right. You can see that front big toe. Right knee is splaying open. Pivoted on that back foot, pressing into those inner thighs here. Let's go and exalt the warrior, bringing this left hand as far towards this right thigh as we can. And we're going to come into half moon, and we're going to try to have this bind going on here. So when we come forward, we're just going to bring it up like this. So this is an automatic forcing the chest to be open here because you have this bind. If you want to play a little more, you can try to take that right hand off the mat, or even taking the gaze up towards the sky. Lots of options here to play with our balance. Whew. Just playing, just another few rounds of breath here. Beautiful. Slowly release that bind. Hands come back to the mat. Go ahead and step both feet back. And we're going to take a vinyasa. We'll all meet back in downward facing dog. Whew. Take 2 rounds of breath while we're here. Next inhale takes that left leg up. 3-leg dog. Roll it forward and step it in between the hands. Next inhale brings us up. High lunge, arms up and overhead. Next inhale, we pivot on that back foot, open up into our warrior two. Let's go ahead and exalt our warrior. Right hand comes towards that left thigh. And here we're going to come back into that half moon with the bind. Once you get here, playing with either taking the gaze up towards the sky, maybe playing with taking the left hand off of the mat. Ooh, feeling into all of the wobbles. That's what we're here for. And slowly releasing the bind. Hands come to the mat. Stepping back. Plank. Taking your vinyasa. We'll all meet downward dog. And this time we'll be here for 3 rounds of breath. If you'd like to drop down into child's pose or dolphin, be my guests here. Beautiful. If you're in child's pose, let's go ahead and come back into our down dog. I'm going to walk forward. Top of the mat. Inhale brings us up, half lift. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, we're going to peel all the way up to standing. Rolling those shoulder blades down the back body. Whew. Crown of the head, reaching up. Shift the weight to the left. Coming into tree pose over here. Go and take that right hand on that right thigh. Left arm reaches up and overhead. And maybe try to take a slight side bend over towards the right. Beautiful. Back to center. Come into hand to knee. Toe to fingers, whatever you call this. Fingers to toe pose, hand to toe pose. That's what we're going to call it, hand to toe. But we use our fingers, 2-piece fingers, around the big toe. Or you can use a strap here. Left hand can be on your hip. This is one of my favorite poses. It's going to take it out to the side. Maybe playing with that gaze, bringing it to the opposite side. Whoo, it's going to challenge that balance, but that's what we're here to do. Just try it, see how it feels. Back to the front. Now we're going to leave the leg where it is, but we're going to release the hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Swing it back, warrior 3. Maybe taking the hands like airplanes. Breathing. And hands to mat, half splits. Send that right leg up as high as it'll go. Really big stretch. Beautiful job, my friends. We're going to lower this leg down. We're going to come in through a yogi squat. Hands at heart center. Whew. Yes. Wonderful job. We have some options here. You can stay here in this yogi squat, or you can come and play with crow with me. Continuing to breathe. Maybe wiggling the toes. They have been through a lot already. Lowering back down. And then we'll all push up into a forward fold. Heel toe and those feet back together. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, we fold. Inhale, we'll peel all the way up to standing. Rolling the shoulder blades back. Crown reaches up. And the other side. Shift the weight to the right. Left foot comes into that thigh or that calf for tree pose. Left hand to left thigh. Right hand up and overhead. Maybe take that side bend over towards the left. Inhale brings us back up. Hand to toe pose here. Left hand grabs this left foot, send it out front. Maybe take it to the side. Maybe take your gaze to the opposite side, challenging that balance. Back to center. Oh, yes. You are wonderful. We're going to release the hand, but keep the foot there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Send the foot back, warrior 3. Maybe taking the arms into airplane arms. And hands come to the mat, half splits. Sending that left leg up as high as it'll go. Big, big, big stretch here. And slowly bring the foot back to the mat, coming through our yogi squat. Elbows press against knees. You're a rock star. Not exactly an easy balance practice, but it felt like it was a very beneficial one. Not only for our ankles and our feet and our legs, but for our minds. So if you want to play with crow, or maybe even crane here, tucking those knees into the armpits instead of the arms, just play with me for a little while here. And slowly back to the forward fold, or back to the yogi squat, and then into forward fold. Heel toe and those feet together. A few rounds of breath here. Wonderful job, my friends. Hands plant, feet step back. We're going to lower all the way down. Interlace the hands behind the back. Inhale lifts us up. Maybe lifting the feet here. Little locust variation. Slowly release. Forearms come to the mat. We're coming in through our Sphinx position here. We're going to get those quads stretched. We've just done a whole lot of leg strength building. So now we want to balance that with some stretch. Bring the right hand to the middle. Reach around that left and grab that left foot. Pull it towards your booty. One more round of breath here. Slowly release. Coming back through our Sphinx. Left hand comes into the middle. Right hand reaches around. As always, taking notice of the difference of each side. There's always going to be a difference. I'll take one more round of breath here. And slow as ever, we release. We're going to push back all fours. So we're going to come into pigeon. So we'll just start with the right leg, bringing the right leg up. Making sure that left leg is straight behind us here. Sit up nice and tall, making sure that alignment feels good here. As always, no sharp shooting, stabbing pains. A slight level of discomfort is welcome. And when it feels good, you can stay there or you can walk forward. Maybe onto the forearms or maybe all the way down. Take one more full round of breath here. Slowly peeling up. Oh, yeah. Pulling this left leg in a little bit and then kicking the right leg back. Releasing through the right. And just coming right on over to the other side. So left leg comes forward into our pigeon. Right leg is straight back. Lift up here through the chest. And either stay here or you can come forward. Choice is yours, as always. Tapping back into the breath. Take one more full round of breath here. Slowly peeling up. Scooching that right knee in and sending that left back. Oh, yeah. We're going to come into a wide-legged seat. If you want to have a block under your sits bones, go ahead and get that now. We're going to come into pancake, but as always, we're going to start by just flowing left to right here, nice and gently. Warming up through the legs, getting the nice stretch in the middle. In the inside, the inner thighs. Also stretching through those hamstrings. And when it feels good, we're hinging from the hips. We're not just folding forward here. Nice tall spine, slowly leaning forward. Just keeping the spine nice and straight here. One more full round of breath here. Slowly we'll peel up. Pivot this left foot around to meet the right. Hands behind us, and let's just take a nice windshield wiper with the legs here. Should feel really nice. And we're all going to meet and end in a child's pose. So wide-legged child's pose, narrow-legged child's pose. Whatever's feeling good in your body right now. Just be here for about 7 rounds of breath. round of breath here. And we'll just push back into a seated kneeling position. Gotta bring the hands to heart center. Our quote today comes from the infamous Dolly Parton. She says, "Never get so busy making a life that you forgot to live a life." So let's be reminded today of balance. Let's not get so busy making a life that we actually forget to live it. So here is to more living with a balance of making. Namaste. Thank you so very much for joining me today. As always, leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about that bound half moon. I would love to hear your thoughts because I really enjoyed playing with it and bringing it here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you back on the mat.